So, hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Insta Roundtable. And this is a place where ideas and leaders meet. And today's roundtable is very special. We have two leaders from EY and OpenText. So, without much delay, let's start off our discussion. Today's agenda is very important in the present world recruitment scenario, which is the integrated workspace, navigating the Gen AI and emerging trends. Okay. So, before we start, a little bit about us, what we do. So, we are a platform which allows companies to find talent with 10x more accuracy and 10x less time compared to any solutions in the market. We are trusted by very large corporations to startups to unicorns like Amazon, Walmart, Cisco, PayPal, Google, all use our product. And today we have two very special speakers. From EY, we have Subhasish. I would like to call upon Subhasish to introduce himself to the folks who are listening.
Hey, thanks, Abhijit. First of all, it's an honor to have on this platform. Thank you so much for inviting. Okay, my name is Subhashish. I'm currently working with EY as a talent consultant, and I carry around 10 years of experience into technical recruitment. Prior to this, I have worked with Capgemini, Cisco, and Novo Nordisk. Yeah, it's a very interesting session, and looking forward to it.
Great.
Sabajit.
Great. Welcome, Subhashish. And I have one question for Subhashish. Can you share a moment in your career where which truly set the direction where you now like in the talent recruitment and talent acquisition space?
Yep, definitely. I would be happy to share that.
Okay.
It's a very kind of scenario. I still remember. I still share with my friends is that basically I have done. I mean, I am a BTech graduate, and
Okay.
I was looking out for a technical job.
Okay.
Okay, but again, coding was not my cup of tea.
Okay.
So I have my childhood friends who have done MBA, and they are in HR. So I was giving interviews, and fortunately I was cracking. I mean, I was not going through, so I was kind of in a scene where I was kind of a little laid down. Okay, when on one fortunate day I met with my friend, and I was discussing on our dinner. So he said that why don't you try HR? Okay, because you are a BTech grad. Okay, and I mean, that information will, I mean, that knowledge will definitely help. Okay,
Okay.
I was not aware what HR is all about. So he explained me, okay, how it works and all. So, and definitely, I mean, I like to connect with friends. I mean, I like to connect with like-minded people. I am kind of, I mean, in from right from school I was like in and around with friends. Okay, I like to be in my own group and all. So yeah, I then he explained me, so that passionated me. I have given a thought, and then finally when I took I took his advice, and then given the first interview, my first company was WTC. I cracked that job, and from there I started, and slowly it became a passion. And then recruitment is always a challenging thing. Okay, and
Okay.
I started liking it, and that now it's a passion for me to take it forward as a career. Okay.
Great, great, great. We have a like a engineer turned talent acquisition expert among us, and we have our second speaker, Shankar Raman from OpenText. Welcome, Shankar. A brief introduction about yourself, and I have a few questions for you also. So, a brief introduction for our folks out here.
Absolutely, Subhajit. So I'm really excited for this conversation, and just a quick intro about myself. So Shankar, that's my name. 13 years in the industry. Started my career, in a consulting firm called Recruits. Worked with companies like WNS, Target, Browser Stack. Consulted with another startup called Out of the Blue, and here I am at OpenText today. That's a bit about my experience. So yes, you did say you had a couple of questions. So
Yeah.
feel free to put
So
me in the
I
spot.
wanted to have an understanding, like, can you take us back to the moment where you were first drawn to recruitment, and what was that like? What had drawn you to this industry and in this segment?
It's an interesting story. So I was actually looking out for a job to
Okay.
get into the BPO industry, apparently, right,
Mhm.
after completing my engineering. So I think we have two engineers here today. So I'm the second one, and I
Okay.
thought I'll get into a BPO role, work something out, and then probably look at joining the IT industry. So I went to a consulting firm, and then I saw nobody sits in a chair and
Acha.
does something on the computer. People are always moving around, talking to other people, convincing hiring managers to hire people, and telling candidates what they should do or should not do. And I thought, this is good, this is interesting, why should I not try it, right? And I thought, okay, let me experiment, and I'll find something near my
Okay.
house. And I
Okay.
found Recruits, which is practically 2 minutes walk from my place.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, let me try it for a few months and see if it works out. As fate would have it, here I am 13 years later having this conversation with you.
Okay, welcome to the industry. So let's start off the question answer segment. So I can start off with Subhashish. Then I will go to Shankar. So Subhashish, what has been your experience navigating the integration of AI in the talent acquisition space? So we have learned about a lot of things which has been automated through artificial intelligence, and some human tasks has also been automated in the recent last few years. So what has been your experience in navigating the integration of AI into our day-to-day talent acquisition process?
Yeah, I personally look the transition in a very positive phase, a
Okay.
very positive manner, because indeed, I mean, this AI implemented stuff is really helped in terms of finding out the right talent
Mhm.
within a small time frame, right? So, I mean, we can get connected to candidates with who are more suitable, okay, who are I mean, we remove those, let's say, unwanted or who are not actually fitting into the current job role. Okay,
Mhm.
it helps to connect. It helps to keep the candidate engaged. Okay, we have seen remarkably, we have seen a development which is, which is very, notifying, because. Yeah, I am personally, I carry experience both in product and services, and again,
Okay.
when it comes to services or consulting background, we
Mhm.
have to, there is always a time frame. It's a
Okay.
very speed up process, because we deal with thousands of demands at a single point of time,
Mhm.
collectively, right? So it helps. Okay, it helps in navigating the process pretty faster. Okay, we
Mhm.
get good quality candidates. Business is also impressed. Okay, it helps to, if I go on, if I want to segregate, right, starting from the job description and all, okay, it helps to prepare the job description more crisp. Okay, we can definitely indulge our mindset to how can we make the job description better to attract more talent. Okay,
Mhm.
as well as it also help us in terms of the branding, okay, of a particular open roles. Okay, so yeah, overall a very good thing. And of course, when we are into an industry which is ever modifying, right, ever
Mhm.
developing. So
Ever-developing.
yeah, it's a
Ever
it's
evolving.
a
Yes.
it's a very good thing to get into it. Okay, and people who implement, they will definitely see a positive result out of it.
Lovely, lovely. So, great insights, Subhashi. So, what are your thoughts on this, Shankar? You have been in the industry and you have seen like you have worked with in various capacities in very large organization plus organization. We are very tech savvy. They adopt technology fast. So, what are your thoughts on this navigating the integration of AI into the TA process?
I think it's a very interesting topic, Sarbajit, and I think Shubhashish did share a brilliant perspective on how things changed and how tech evolved. Right. I think I'll take a couple of steps back. So AI is a very dreaded topic
Mm.
in the human workforce. Right. The
Definitely.
moment you talk AI, people are always asking, "Will I lose my job tomorrow, or will I lose my job 5 years down the line?"
Mm.
And your question, I think, is very good. To place it on top, because AI makes us better, right? While it itself gets better. If you see the kind of advancements we're seeing in AI today and where it was 5 years back,
Mm.
we have actually grown manifolds in terms of what our capabilities can do. So today, if I'm integrating AI into talent acquisition, I would say we don't need to do it at an enterprise level. Even at an individual level, if you're doing some bits of Gen AI, for example, understand job descriptions or decode job descriptions or understand what is the job description actually saying. Two, writing wonderful emails to your stakeholders or candidates, which is super personalized to the effect that you're going to get better conversion ratios with your candidates.
Hmm.
Or onboard candidates in a very personalized manner using Gen AI.
Hmm.
And it's an evolving topic. Not many organizations are using Gen AI in talent acquisition or HR per se completely, but it's done in bits and pieces. But
Okay.
summarizing, long story short,
Hmm.
Gen AI has made us a better professional, made us have better conversations with hiring managers or stakeholders than being a threat to our jobs.
Okay. Okay. So, Shankar, I will continue with you on this, and then we'll move to Subhashish. Which emerging trends have caught your attention, and how have you applied them in this in your process of integrating technology and workspaces?
So emerging trends. So there is an AI tool for everything today.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And one case study that I can give you is in one of my earlier tenures as a consultant. We were looking to hire a technical writer slash blogger, because the company was not having a marketing person. So we were actually looking to hire somebody who should come in and write blogs and articles, etc., on a periodic basis on specific topics which is relevant to the implementation the company is actually making or product releases. And what we did is we found people who are not so good in terms of what we want them to do. Of course, they were wonderful bloggers and content creators, but not relevant to what we were doing. So
Okay.
that is where we use Gen AI and generative AI technologies for content creation to write articles
Okay.
which were very relevant. And what we did is we incorporate that into the product implementation or product releases, made small edits, and released it to the public. And the result was the click through rate was amazing. And it was a joint effort, right? So we hired AI without paying anything. Obviously, it was a free tool. And the company also got a lot of good stuff out of it. So that way, that's one use case. And the other use case on a daily basis, understand, let's say we have chat gpt, which is one gen AI tool, and we have Google, the bard experiment, which is another AI tool. And like that we have 10 different tools, and which does different things on its own. So it could be a simple mail that you'll have to write, or let's say if you want to create content or put something on a YouTube or something, you can use this technology. Or if you want to write personalized emails, you can do that as well. So incidentally, LinkedIn released a Gen AI or a artificial intelligence mail creator a couple of weeks back. I'm sure all of us are using that. That makes our job a lot easier. So, but what worries me, Sarbajit, is if everything is being done by AI, I am not sure as a candidate or even an employer as to whether it is coming from somebody on the other side or something from the other side, if you know what I mean.
Understood. So that's is a problem of a lot. Like we will see this problem coming up in the next few months after we adopt uh, like AI in almost everything. So Subhashish, what are your thoughts on the emerging trends that caught your attention, and how have you or your company or your team have applied it?
Sure. Sarvajit, again, I'm second with Shankar. I mean, I'm onto the same lines that, yeah, I mean, again, with chat GPT, I, at my personal level, have experimented. I have created my profile, how it looks. I mean, trust me, it is, I mean, like, I mean, the kind of phrases or words they use, I mean, it is awesome. And again, I mean, LinkedIn, I have also has their own AI software, which you can implement while creating your LinkedIn bio. Okay. And use it as in when required. If you want to do a job post, LinkedIn is there. You just have to type those keywords, what you want, I mean, what is there in your mind, it will be there in the LinkedIn frame, in couple of seconds, right? So, and it's very attractive. I mean, it's very cleared. Okay. Candidate I mean, from the candidate perspective, as well as from a hiring perspective. Yeah. When you say about its implementation. We do have used implemented in creating a job descriptions, okay, for niche technologies, right? Okay, how we can attract passive candidates, how the role would be, what are the benefits, okay, and how one can, after going through that job description, one can definitely think the what the role may offer him or her, okay, if he applies for that particular role. Okay, so it helps. Again, we are into a growing phase, we are into an adaptation phase. It will take time gradually, but again, yeah, it it is making an impact in terms of hiring any kind of role. For that, it matters from, let's say, from an experience level of 3 years to 15 years, 17 years. Okay, so
Okay.
it's making a positive impact, if I have to summarize.
Okay. So, Subhashi, a question for you. As a talent acquisition professional, you have seen a lot of changes happening. And, where do you see the most profound shifts happening in this industry? Like, kind of, you have talked about generative AI. Any other profound shifts you see in the industry taking place? Your personal opinion on that?
Definitely the buzz is in AI industry and cloud. Okay,
Okay.
people are. People are now. If I talk from the technical perspective,
Hmm.
I mean, because I connect with many techies, where they, people who are people, they want to grow. Okay, they want to be multi-skilled. Okay, if they are one tech, because if you see the technology shifts is like, I mean. 10 years back, it is like one version comes in, after that there is a gap. Now the version developments, or the version develops every 6 months, or the technology,
Hmm.
you name it, Angular or React or anything, so on and so forth. Okay, so as this cloud as well. Okay, so people are open to learn or get multi-skilled, right? So uh, learning is very much important. Okay, so I see people, especially in cloud area. Okay,
Hmm.
they are developing themselves. Okay, and that's helping the business from a company's point of view, and an individual from let's say, a techie point of view. Okay, so that's how I've seen that evolution in the cloud, mostly including AI.
Okay. Okay. So, Subhashi, uh, your question, for the next question, I will start with you. So how do you think we are preparing for the advent of generative AI in the workspace, given that many experienced folks or experienced employees might not be very comfortable, or might be uncomfortable with AI and generative AI and new stuff?
True. No, Subject, we have to definitely do a lot of action to help to engage that set of a people.
Hmm.
Okay, but yeah, as you rightly said, it is not going to be easy. It is indeed very tough to deal with a candidate who comes with 10 years of experience, who is stable in their job. Okay,
Hmm.
but when you see, but it's a practical experience. Okay, where now we see at 10 years, 12 years also, people, the business ask, or the client ask is, you should be hands on. Gone are the days when, when people are working as a project manager, or next level of project manager, or let's say a kind of a any team management roles, right? Okay, that has come down, that level. Okay, so come, if you, the role is still there. Okay, let's say a technical manager, but people want, the expectation is you should be hands on. Okay,
Hmm.
and you should be open to learn technologies. um, just a small survey I have done off late, where I see people are lit people are uh, uh, open to learn new things. Okay, they are they have accepted that they have to come out from their comfort zone, and accept the development world in IT industry. Okay, if they have to survive for a long run. Okay, both financially and the role growth wise. Okay,
Okay.
because we have also seen, because we have done a survey where it sees that people who have not adapted to the current technologies and all, they have either they have very tough way ahead. Okay, either they have to, they have to face some severe outcomes. Okay,
Hmm.
okay, so yeah, but again, it's tough, but people who are accepted, they are growing indeed.
Okay.
They are
So
growing to the
Shankar,
next
what are your thank you, Subhashi. What Shankar, what are your thoughts on that? How like preparing for the advent of Gen AI and it's there in every part of the work which we do. And given that many experienced employees might feel out of place or maybe uncomfortable with AI, how do you deal with this? You're on mute, actually, Shankar.
Yeah, sorry about that. So what I was saying is, I think a slightly different perspective, right? This whole inhibition comes from the fact that manufacturing industry, considering I'm a mechanical engineer, that's where I think majority of the automation happened in the last half century, where you had manually looking at machines and then we had computer controlled machines. That's where majority of the workers thought, oh my God, this machine is going to replace me and I don't have anything to do next. But on the flip side, when you had a CNC machine, you also had to have a CNC operator. So factories went through a transformation and they trained employees to use machines which were computer controlled. In a sense, you made somebody who were just rotating bearings to programming aspects and build something out of it, right? Likewise for the tech industry, 10 years back, if you see, we just had a few languages. Today, if you see, the languages have also evolved. Plus, there are no code concepts also that are at play. So, the kind of experience level that people are at today, they understand the true aspects of generative AI. But there's a specific set of people who probably feel a threat by it. But what I would tell them is, if you know how to use Gen AI to your advantage, there's no need to panic because this technology is only going to make you more efficient and make you more goal oriented, or if you, give more outcomes basically to do whatever you're doing. So today if you are implementing 5 or 6 projects with Gen AI and these technologies, you can probably double or triple it within the same course of time, which makes us as consumers benefactors of all this. So I would say that it is about educating the people about the right use of Gen AI and its implications, than push them away saying you don't understand this technology. And I think if you see 10, 15 years back, there was a term when you get into the tech industry and if you're talking to somebody from non-tech, they say that, you know what, this, you won't understand this. This is technology. But today, a lot of people understand technology. My own parents were using 1100 15, 20 years back. Today they use Android and iOS phones. They're able to distinguish between operating systems without them knowing about it, right? So that is where I think we also have evolved as human civilization. But I think one quote that I would steal from Narayana Murthy is, the machines do not have one thing that we have, which is emotional quotient. So they just cannot match up to what we do from an adaptation standpoint.
Okay, so Shankar, I have a question for you for your opinion. So throughout your journey, what challenges, what is that challenge, or what are the challenges which have taught you the most, and how did you overcome it or navigate these challenges?
So from a challenge perspective, right, I'll bring a personal view to it. So one is, I come from a family which is not very techy. I am probably the first engineer in my whole family. And I think for my family, tech is all about lathe or some milling machine or something, right? The computer only came in very late, right? And then from then on, understanding what technology can do had become the majority of part of my conversation at home. So when I asked my dad for a graphics processor unit or a GPU, uh, and I said I want to play games at it, he probably thought it's waste of money, right? And today he understands that gaming is a big industry in its own, and you can make money out of gaming online, right? And this is just one challenge. The other challenge is convincing hiring managers about technologies. And let's say in 2020, 2012, when Python, etc., was a very, very primitive language, we've had hiring managers asking for people with Python experience for 5, 6 years. So today, if any hiring manager tells me that, you get me this technology which was just released 4, 5 years back, and I want somebody with 10 years of experience, I can have better conversations with that person because I have a stream of tools that I can use online to understand evolution of technology, what is the alternate for it, etc., and convince that person. So, these are the contrast of challenges that I've come through. But I think the primitive challenge is understanding the whole talent landscape and using the right tools and technology, and solution these challenges.
Okay. So Shankar, I will continue with that, and then I'll move on to Subhashish. What insights can you share about balancing technology advances with the human element in recruitment? So there are a lot of stuff which has been automated, but there are a lot of stuff which doesn't need automation or cannot be automated. So what are your insights on like any new things which you want to discuss on how to balance both the technology and the human element in recruitment?
Absolutely. I think let me take you 6 7 years back when I was just sipping coffee on a warm afternoon on a Friday. I get a call from a back then we had Truecaller, which tells you it's a junk call, right? So I get a call from a job portal, and I was very excited. Oh my God, somebody's offering me a job. Then I picked the call. It was an IVRS. So the call said, "Hi Shankar, this is so and so from this company. We are looking to hire. If you are interested, press one. If you're not interested, press two." Right? Then I said I was very curious. So I pressed one. It collected my basic information on record. It collected my salary details on the number. So you just press, if you are 10 lakhs, you just press 10. Or what is your notice period? Just press 30 days if it is 1 month, etc. So it collected all my details. And then 2 days later, a recruiter calls me and the person says, look, we got all your details. We like your communication skill. We liked your overall profile. We would like to meet you for a in-person discussion and continue with the interviews. And this was a piece of technology 5 6 years back. So today, I think we have grown manifolds. We can probably do video interviews where systems are going to tell you what is the mannerism of that person.
Okay. Yes.
And that way, you don't have to fret your mind with respect to whether the person will be a fit or not for your company. But on the other hand, you can probably, at a human element, understand if the person has the right EQ and probe the person accordingly. So, in my opinion, 20 30% of AI should do the job, and 60 70% human element will be necessary to hire a person. Because if you leave everything on the machine, you probably are prone to a lot of biases because machines are trained on data which we input in a way as people.
Okay. Great. Great insights, Shankar. So, Shubhashish, what are your thoughts on what insights on balancing technology advances with the human element in recruitment?
Yes, Sarvajit. I mean, I think hearing Shankar, okay, I am, yeah, my views would be definitely technology is good once we adapt, but again, a human element is also we cannot outright at all, right? Because yeah, when it comes to when professionally, if I have to elaborate, since we are dealing with multiple number of positions within TAT. So AI or any relevant technology will help to get better quality. Okay, within a short period of time. Okay, but again, when it comes, I mean, let's say, I mean, we'll do the, I mean, we have also automated the interview process. Okay, we have introduced automatic connect with the candidates at regular intervals at various stages. Okay, but again, specifically in terms of hiring, if I have to say, that scope of negotiation to understand the candidate's mindset, right? Okay, whether he will be a right fit, okay, or to educate his or her queries, okay, or to mitigate his doubts, okay, element of humans is very much important. That connect is very much important. Otherwise, it would be tough. Or I mean, definitely, as Shankar rightly said, it is all a human mind which has been implemented to Gen AI, right? So it has its own limited functions and attributes. So human element is mandatory. Yeah, it will definitely help us to go better, okay, go more streamlined, more advanced. But again, yeah, I see, I mean, as rightly said, as Shankar rightly said, it should be 40% machine plus 60% human hand involved in our workspace.
Okay. So, Subhash, I will continue. How do you see the future of talent acquisition evolving with the incorporation of Gen AI and other trends? We have talked about a lot of the new future and trends. So, anything which you want to highlight in this?
Um, Definitely. Let's say, as slowly but gradually, every organization at an organizational point of view, they are trying to know more about Gen AI. They are implementing that Gen AI as a pilot project. Okay, how the things are going on, how its reaction should be, how the outcome is. Okay,
Hmm.
so future would be good. Okay, as when technology is good, so future would definitely be good. It would create a kind of new job opportunities related to AI, more tech based. Okay, it will help us to um, deliver quality. Okay, the quality level will grow. Okay, there. I mean, in day to day life, when you deal. Okay, there. I mean, as in human, you try to forget something or miss out something if you are busy on any other activities, right? So, I mean, being we can help of a Gen AI as a tool. Okay, where in terms of recruitment per se, if I have to say, okay, let's say a regular follow up with the candidate, a regular candidate catch up, everything. Okay, it's always help us to keep the candidate engaged. Okay, um, uh, so as uh, let's say in terms of business perspective, okay, creating a good job description, or coming out with I mean it all I mean Gen AI will help us to understand the technology more better. Okay, it's a tool where you can go and self google or understand any kind of questions or queries you have. It will give us an overview. Okay, so that helps. Okay, and the role will be being a talent advisor, the role will be more vibrant, and it will go to a next ladder, right? It will be a not, I mean, not for many companies where I mean it would be kind of let's say you will be more equipped to technology to use for your better half. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's my perspective. Okay, when Gen AI I see after 4 5 years down the line.
Okay, great. So I think a lot of folks, young folks who are listening out here, who are getting into this field, will have a lot of understanding from what Subhashish and Shankar has been talking about. So I will move on to Shankar with that. What is the future? How do you see the future of talent acquisition with the new tools, new trends coming in? A lot of generative AI, ChatGPT 4, and other stuff coming in. So, what are your thoughts on that and the future of talent acquisition?
I think a curious question within this topic, Subhashish, is that I would be keen to see how Excel will shape over the last 5 years, right? Excel is the most important tool for any recruiter. I am sure that 99.9% of the recruiters watching this will agree with me.
Mhm.
So Excel has seen multiple shifts. So Excel has seen ATSs, new age ATSs. And I think today we're talking about ChatGPT. I'm sure majority of the recruiters are either filling their trackers or sending updates to your business leaders on trackers, right? I think if Gen AI is able to get us rid of these trackers or make it a little more intelligent, that is one welcome change that I would see. But I would still miss Excel because my
Okay.
association with Excel has been, right through college, right? And
Mm.
that is one tool which needs a lot of Gen AI, if I may talk about it, right? And from a future of AI TA perspective, it looks pretty interesting. And as TA advisors, we will definitely have far mature conversations with hiring managers, candidates, and all the stakeholders because we have everything under our fingertips. And on a funny note, if people have watched Mission Impossible,
Mhm.
there's a part of this movie where you're wearing contact lenses, and if you look at somebody, it'll automatically tell you who the person is and what he or she is intending
Okay.
to do, etc. I would really aspire to the Gen AI in order to do that, but of course, it's legally impossible to do. But if let's say if I'm a company with data of that applicant, and if the person comes on screen for an interview, the system will or should be able to tell me when the person applied, what was the feedback, where the person lacked, and make a video analysis of the person today and give me an assessment saying, you know what, this person has improved so much in the last 5 6 years, and this was the feedback last, and the system should tell me 9 on 10 for this hire person and go to hire. And I will take this straight to my hiring manager and said the system can't go wrong, let's go ahead and hire this person, rather than me going back to your emails feedback. So the feedbacks are always not too detailed. I'm sure that's a problem that we're all solving as talent acquisition professionals. But I think with Gen AI and the future of tools that we are going to have, I think we will definitely be far more equipped from what we are doing today. I'm sure a lot of companies today don't schedule interviews manually. They use Gen AI. There are multiple tools available which automates the whole thing, and things are going to be a little more personalized. So your emails are going to get personalized. You will have predictions for people joining or not joining, and that is something which I challenge any Gen AI technology to predict it more than 95%, because nobody can predict behavior of somebody who is going to join your company or not join, because that's something which in their head even their wives or spouses will not know whether they're going to join this company or not.
Okay, so thank you, Shankar, for the beautiful insights and for the beautiful knowledge which you have shared. I will move on to the last question which I have prepared for you guys. So we'll start with Subhashish. When it comes to tech-driven workspaces, what ethical considerations should not be overlooked? So very technical question, I might say. Ethical considerations. Yeah. So over to you, Subhashish, and then I will go to Shankar and have his thoughts on that.
Yeah, indeed, a very good question, and it's a challenge. I mean, it's when it comes to ethics, right? I mean, ethics always. I mean, we see biasness, right? AI. I mean, sometimes may go wrong as well, because it's again a system. It's again
Yeah.
a right. Okay, so. Um, we have a platform that can be used in a on a positive way, or can in a negative way as well. There is always a flip side to it.
Hmm.
um, so we have to be very, being a human, we have to be very cautious how we drive that, or how we use that tool to our advantage, okay, in a positive way or in a better way, okay, which will give a, a result, which will give a result oriented approach. um, there are times things like, I mean, I have read an article where, I mean, uh, hiring, not in India. I mean, I think it's article at US. They were implementing. They are hiring a resource. They are hiring. They are doing a drive. Okay, and they have a target to hire around 50 to 70 resource. Okay, wherein they implemented. They reached out to, I think, a good lot of numbers, okay, through AI, in terms of job applicants, okay, people who have applied, they have gone through their bio and all, okay, understand their experience and all. So the talent manager who has actually published this article as an experience, that, I mean, he saw that uh, the candidates, I mean, because the bio is such a way articulated and well published, that um, we cannot identify whether this candidate is actually a potential candidate, or he is a kind of below average candidate. Okay, so because when you see the resume, you cannot make out, right? Because AI is such a matter, he will give you a I mean, a beautiful visualization of a profile or a bio, right? So there has to be a manual, I mean, human intervention, where I mean, people have to see the biasness, okay, to evaluate a candidate whether it is a potential good or average candidate, okay. He has to, I mean, then he has to be tested in his real skills, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so that it's not a wrong fit to any organization. So that candidate was evaluated, okay, and he, I mean, we have to see their communication skills, okay, I mean, easy, the kind of bio he is presenting, okay, whether it's a self written bio, or and definitely he has taken any AI based, or let's say a chat GPT, or Jasper, or an Amazon AI tool to prepare it. Okay, so how articulative he is, to at least we have to be very caution of the fact that I mean, we do not hire a wrong candidate, or right. So for that, that has to be checked in the interview level. Okay, so that he saw a couple of candidates who were actually they were struggling to make their presence felt, or whatever they have articulated in their resume. Okay, when it comes to their communication skills, or when they interpret, they were lagging, they were struggling. Okay, so that's a very much important gray line, which has to be identified well in advance, so that it does not backfire later on.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is one of the things which I also, thought about it. Okay, so how Gen I mean, definitely we are going into an automation world going forward in coming 2-3 years. Okay, so how, whether, definitely, are we biased on it? Okay, because everything, the tool is doing on our behalf, right?
Hmm.
So where we should pitch in, where we should pitch in the, in which, in and what time, at which time frame, or at what point we should pitch in, what is the right point, that has to be calculated, being a talent advisor or any HR. Okay, to do a successful hiring.
Okay, so one of the things which you have said is conscious and unconscious bias which creeps in the system, and it keeps on adding up. Shankar, what are your thoughts on this ethical consideration of using a lot of tools or a lot of AI based on our data which is fed to the system, and what is the future of this? Like, what are the things like which can happen?
So, see, every coin has two sides.
Yeah.
So, I think Gen AI, as of now, it's not 100% foolproof because the system is still learning. And one of the systems has learned data till 2019, ChatGPT. And I think Google update their Gen AI version every 4 hours.
Hmm.
So the data is still not accurate. And like Subhashish mentioned, there's a lot of bias that goes into the system. So I think a real case is, let's say there are two people, and this is a real example that I can give you. A couple of my friends were looking out for a change, and one person is a BCom and the other person is a BBA. And let's say if you put the BBA person into the chat GPT and say, you know what, can you create a similar resume for me? Just that I worked in this company for 4 years, the other company for 5 years, and everything else is similar. So ChatGPT will make a resume for you, and you can download, put it on an Excel sheet or a Word document, and go to the interview. But you should know that you are a BBA, not a BCom, and the resume that you input is that of a BCom. You sit in front of the interviewer and you say that I'm a BBA, and the interviewer sees on the resume that it is a BCom. There'll be questions as to why there is a BCom and not BBA, and you're talking about BBA. So that is where you, as a user, need to be aware of what the system has given you as an output. So you need to make sense of whether that result or output is relevant to what you're looking for, or is it even right to present it. Than take everything at face value. So I think some of the common mistakes that most users do in Gen AI is take everything that the machine throws at you and then go with it. I think that will create a lot of ripple effects because you're presenting or showing that data to somebody else, and that somebody else is going to somebody else to make a decision, and ultimately it'll come back to sting you back. Right. So that is where I think you should not throw anything and everything at the system and take everything that comes from it. And I think I have asked ChatGPT or Gen AI technologies to do basic calculations, but it gave me wrong answers. Right.
Okay.
And my wife is in the teaching area, and she was actually trying to prepare question papers for 7th or 8th grade. And when we asked ChatGPT to do it, it actually gave simple third and fourth standard math questions for somebody at the 7th standard. So that will actually substantiate the kind of output that you're going to get. So you don't want to give a 7th grade student something that you will learn on 4th or 5th grade. So the system is definitely not fully efficient. Even if it is 91% plus efficiency, you should not trust anything until it's 100% efficient. So my take is you need to be super, super clear on what you want to use that data for, and not throw everything that the system, or take everything that the system throws at you. And of course, don't input data that is strictly confidential. So we've all seen case studies where large product organization, I think there was somebody who copy pasted everything on the system to seek an opinion, and the system learnt it and published it onto the web, and everybody were able to access those files. So these are all some of the practices that is a strict no. On the contrary, whatever is public, it could be job descriptions or it could be anything that is available to the public for you to analyze and dissect. But at the same time, take it with a pinch of salt. understand what's given to you as an output, make changes, and then give it out. So, and I'm sure, I think I've seen this in multiple instances where you draft emails to candidates using the AI feature. It is not accurate. The system actually takes in incorrect job descriptions, it takes incorrect titles. And if you send that to the candidate, it's a sure shot decline from the candidate, because you are not going to get that lead for sure. So you need to be super cognizant of what you are telling the system to do, and super cognizant of what it tells you to do in the back.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Shankar, for your insights. And before we move on to the next section, which is the Q&A from our audience, I will have a few questions for you guys so that our audience understands you better, how you operate, how you guys operate. So I'll start with Subhashish. Subhashish, rapid fire questions, just simple one word answers. What do you prefer, traditional interviews versus AI powered assessments?
AI powered assessments.
Okay. On-site training or e-learning platforms?
E-learning platforms.
Okay. The last one for you: city life or a countryside retreat? What do you prefer?
Countryside retrieve.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so I'll move to Shankar. Shankar, your question is: what do you prefer, employee surveys or AI sentiment analysis?
I hate surveys, so let's do with sentiment analysis.
Okay, and startup hustle or the corporate ladder or a large corporate ladder?
I want to pass this question. My bosses are going to be watching, so I'm actually in a mature organization. But I'll be bold. I'll say startup hustle, because you get to do a lot and you tend to make a larger impact. So my bosses, if you're watching it, so please disregard this answer.
Okay, physical books or ebooks?
I don't read books, but physical books better. But at least so I have a 1.5-year-old son, so I read a lot of stories to him. So physical books better. I don't want him to have screen time.
Okay, and early riser or night owl?
Neither. So there are
Neither.
times when I'm up in the night. There are times when I'm up in the morning. So I like sleep. So whenever you get sleep, you sleep off. Simple.
So now we move on to the next section. Thank you so much, guys, for being so agile on this. We move on to the section where we have a lot of questions from the audience. We have selected some few of them, and anyone can answer and take any question. So the first question comes from Amit Kapoor, who has asked, "Can you share an example of integrating new technology that significantly improved your talent acquisition strategy?" Subhashish or Shankar, anyone can take it.
I can take that, Shankar, with your permission.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure. So yeah, we have of late implemented this AI function of doing automated interviews, and
Okay.
it's really working a lot. Because what happened, I mean, it is more. Uh, uh, it is more output bounding, okay, wherein I mean, we have a facility of sending out the invites, okay, through a channel where we have three options. Candidate, as per their availability, can give us the three available schedules, okay, and as per that, it gets scheduled automatically. Okay, so if the candidates I mean, a candidate also have a choice. If they have by mistakenly select a first choice, they can anytime reroute it to his second preferred choice. Okay, so by doing so, okay, we don't have to follow the candidates, okay, and if they're busy, sometimes if we do it manually, then sometimes there are cases where candidates are busy and they are not answering calls via emails or xyz reasons. Okay, so this always helps. Okay, I mean, automated way of scheduling interviews.
Okay, lovely. Okay, that we also have built in house, so that is also there in our ATS. So lovely answer. So I think Amit, you have got your answer. Next is from Neha Sharma, who has asked that what's your take on some new ways of employee engagement for a Gen AI influence workplace? Workplace.
So I'll take that question. And so Neha, I'm not sure if you're from the HRBP team.
Yeah.
So one of the aspects of Gen AI using employee engagement is the best example is chatbots. So employees have a lot of questions. So the questions could be very simple as to where will I find this document, to something as complex as how do I transfer my PF, right?
Mhm.
So the government systems, sadly, they're not AI friendly, because you need somebody to go to the office to do a lot of things. You need to fill a zillion forms. So that is where employee engagement right now, as far as I know, not many organizations are using Gen AI to the extent that they should be used. But I think in the future, we will definitely see a lot of Gen AI in the employee engagement space, where you get a lot of personalized elements. Training, I think, is one area where Gen AI will recommend personalized training elements for your employees that will improve a lot of drive and engagement and make a better outcome of your team. And chatbots will get a little more intelligent, because one of the chatbots that I was using in my previous organizations was that it was not very efficient. You ask some question, it's going to throw something else. But I think it'll give you links that, so it makes your job a little easy. But I think the system has a lot of scope to mature. So right now, sadly, not many organizations are doing it, but I think there's a lot of potential for employee engagement using Gen AI, and especially in onboarding, you can give a personalized experience. System can automatically send emails, track things, understand whether the candidate is on course, not on course, engaged, disengaged, etc., and give you a speedometer of sorts, so that you can decide whether the person is inclined or not inclined. Likewise, for attrition, Gen AI can predict where, on how far the employees can stay or not stay, or what are the different elements that the employees will need to do. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, Karan Mehta, the next question. I think we have answered this. Both of the parties, like recruiters and candidates, use AI. How can we check if candidates are using AI in assessments and test? I think we have answered this question before. So I'll move on to the next one. Could you give us some examples, insights, how Gen AI impacts job seeker expectations and behavior? Priya Kumar has asked.
That's a very interesting question. Subhasish, you want to take it up, or you
Definitely.
want me to?
Yeah. So I'll take that. Shabajit, can I request you to just revise? Yeah.
I will do that. So Priya Kumar has asked, could you give us some examples or insights how Gen AI impacts job seeker behavior and expectations?
Yeah, definitely. So again, when we post a job, I'll go from the very beginning when a new job is published in various platforms, right? With the emergence of Gen AI, okay, which helps us to um, create a job more defined way. Okay, it has a very crisp way of formatting job descriptions. Okay, what is the actual expectation, what is the role offers to a new candidate when he or she applies. Okay, so uh, while going through, individual can make out, is it matching to my experience, or is or will it give a new value addition to his technical forte. Okay, so by this way, I mean, it will motivate him. If the answer is yes, definitely it will motivate him to apply for that job, right?
Okay.
And he will be curious to step further on that job. So it really helps. This trend, in particular, I have a personal experience of a candidate experience where candidate shared that the job description really motivated. I mean, he was a passive job seeker. Okay, so he really liked that role and applied it for one of my open roles. And so that's the experience which a candidate gets out of it from an AI driven let's say AI driven format of
Okay.
job description.
Okay. Great.
Let me add a bit of thing to that, right? So I think from a job seeker expectation from the company also, that has impacted a lot, because considering we have information available, we expect the candidates to be far more prepared about the company, about the role, and what are the different trends that they see from the technology standpoint. Because it's a simple thing that you can do. A small prep goes a long way. So a lot of candidates, they do it. They come back to us with career slides or content that will impress us. So if you are going through your next interview, ensure that you're preparing about the company. There are multiple AI tools that you can use to understand the company, prepare a gist of what is involved. So that will help you a lot in terms of getting prepared for the interview and for the company in a large way. So I think large of organizations, they expect the candidates to go through their policies, principles, objectives, etc. So if you are able to summarize and give those right terms in the right package, your job is safe, or you will get the job. Priya Kumar.
Great. So we come to the end of the questions from our audience, and we move on to the last bit of it. So the last bit. So we have talked about recruitment, recruiters, and now we come to the other side of the table for candidates or job seekers. So we have people who have been in the industry for decades. Okay, and if I want to have them to give some tips for the job seekers in this times, how to get a green job, what will this two or three or one or two major techniques or tips which you want to give? So I will start off with Shankar and then Subhashish. So Shankar, any tips or techniques which can help our job seekers and folks who are looking out for the dream job?
So one thing is, for sure, you need to get the basics right. And when I say the basics right, know your company, know the job,
Hmm.
know the people that are there on top. So that is where interactions with the recruiter makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And once you get that information of what is involved and what it is, that's when you should use generative AI, get into the tools, understand what's involved and what is the different trends. Uh, Glassdoor is one element where a lot of job seekers go and research. So not many do it, but a lot of people do it as well. But ensure that you go to Glassdoor, understand the company, prepare a lot in terms of what the workspace is involved,
Absolutely.
and understand the interview process. Go to the interview prepared, at least on the fundamentals. And one key advice that I tell all my candidates is take a moment before you answer a question. Because when the question is very, very familiar, what happens is a lot of candidates jump at the answer because they know the answer. But in the essence, they really miss out on the essence of what the question is intended for. So understand the question, listen to the question, build listening skills, then go and answer the question. That will also give a very good impression to your interviewer, because everybody looks at structured thinkers, people who are able to solve problems and understand the problem. And one primitive area where a lot of candidates fall down is they don't ask questions, because they build this preconceived notion that if I ask question, probably I'll be in more trouble. But on the contrary, the more questions you ask, it builds a image that you are pretty curious about the organization and the role, so you will get more points, right? And last but not the least, use generative AI to your advantage. You can do mock interviews where systems actually behave as an interviewer and you a candidate, and it might give you situations. So you just put your job description and your resume, and you will get questions of what can be asked, and that makes you a little more confident before you go to the interview.
Okay, great. I think that will help a lot of people who are looking for the dream job. Subhashish, over to you. Any tips and techniques for job seekers and candidates?
Definitely, Savjit. I think Shankar has collated most of the points, key points. But again, a couple of additions here. What I personally do, okay,
Okay.
let's say, of course, a resume is the first approach to present yourself, right? So the articulation of the resume has to be very, I mean, like crisp, and the information. I mean, definitely we should go through our resume once before I go for an interview. Okay, that's important. Networking, okay, come what may, if you are a technical or a non-technical background, okay, I mean, LinkedIn or any other social media sites for that matter, okay, get connected to people, okay, have a chat or try to connect them, okay. uh, do a research. I mean, let's say if you are applying for a XYZ company, do a research for that company, how it's doing, okay, what are the key projects they are working on, okay, try to get connected with some people who are working over there, okay, get some insights, okay. So this is a kind of a pre-interview homework which I do, okay, before going for an interview. That makes me prepared, okay. Yeah, so that's all I would share my tips or kind of points.
One other point which I can add is,
Okay.
for the job seekers, go to Insta here and register your account. And this is not paid promotion, everybody. So
Definitely.
most of the recruiters are there, so you will find your job.
Thank you for the endorsement, Shankar. With that, we come to an end. It has been a great, exciting conversation with two of very senior HR leaders and TA leaders. Thank you, Shankar. Thank you, Subhashish, for your time, taking out time from your busy schedule and talking to us and talking to our audience and getting the insights out of the different forms and techniques which are used in today's world, basically a generative AI world. So with that, I will close off this session. Thank you, Shankar. Thank you, Subhashish, once again for joining in.
Thank you so much, Sarbojit. I think this was a great interaction. So, Subhashish, I think you were a wonderful co-panel member as well. So, looking forward to meeting all of you.
Sure.
Sure. Thanks, Sarvajit. And I would like to say my extended thanks to Jashi as well. So for giving me a platform to be a part of this session. Thanks, Shankar. Looking forward to meet you soon.
Likewise. +1 to Joshik, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.